Making the headlines tonight. Cambodia records its first Omicron variant of COVID-19 in a pregnant woman travelling from Ghana. Prime Minister Hun Sen receives a courtesy visit from Russian Secretary of the Security Council, aiming to strengthen ties between the two nations. The Prime Minister's wife, Bun Rani Hun Sen, has celebrated her 67th birthday, receiving well wishes from the King and Queen Mother. F1 champion Max Verstappen gets back behind the wheel for tyre testing at Abu Dhabi after winning the Formula One World Championship. And hundreds of dinosaur footprints have been found in Poland, giving an insight into the complex ecosystem of 200 million years ago. This is the Daily Roundup on the EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. My name is Paolo Bonini. The Minister of Health has announced late on Tuesday the discovery of the first Omicron variant of COVID-19. It was discovered in a pregnant Cambodian woman travelling from Ghana. However, Prime Minister Hun Sen has assured the public that there is nothing to worry about, and the Ministry of Health is keeping this first case of Omicron under close observation. EAC News reporter Ria Soka has the details.
A 15-week pregnant Cambodian woman is now undergoing treatment in the capital. This was after she tested positive of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 upon arrival in the kingdom. The 23-year-old woman traveled from Ghana, Dubai, Thailand, and finally landing in Cambodia. According to the Ministry of Health, the woman who hails from Bavit City in Swayring Province arrived in Cambodia on Sunday. She is vaccinated with a single shot Johnson & Johnson. She tested positive in the rapid testing upon arrival. Then she underwent another testing through PCR for confirmation. Health authorities found out that she is carrying the Omicron variant of the coronavirus. However, she does not show any symptoms. On Wednesday, at the inauguration ceremony of the Hyatt Regency Phnom Penh Hotel, Prime Minister Hun Sen has assured people that there is nothing to worry. The Ministry of Health is doing their best to keep it under control. In addition, the Prime Minister has reiterated that the vaccine alone is not enough. He says that the constant practice of the 3 do's and 3 don'ts are still the most effective prevention against COVID-19. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced that he will appoint Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn as the envoy of the ASEAN chair to coordinate with Myanmar. He has also revealed that Minister of Industry, Science, Technology and Innovation, Chon Praset, will be appointed as the assistant to Prak Sokhonn. The Prime Minister has affirmed his commitment to revive the ASEAN 10, as Cambodia will start chairing the regional group next month. EAC News reporter Kong Srepo has the story.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Prak Sokhonn, will be appointed as the Asian envoy to Myanmar. This was announced by Prime Minister Hun Sen on Wednesday as he attended the inauguration of the Hyatt Regency Phnom Penh Hotel. The Prime Minister insists that if the Asian members will never be back to 10, Asian is gone. He has said that he is preparing to perform the Asian chairmanship, leading Myanmar back to the team. In addition, Prime Minister Hun Sen also revealed that he is going to appoint Minister of Industry, Science, Technology and Innovation Chon Praset as the assistant of Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn. The Prime Minister has highlighted that he will follow the Asian Charter framed by the Asian laws, Asian value, Asian clear principles, and responsibility legally binding agreement of the 10 Asian member states. Prime Minister Hun Sen will travel to Myanmar in early January next year to pave the way for the progress of the Asian 5-point consensus agreement. The visit of Prime Minister Hun Sen in early January 2022 is at the invitation of the President of the State Council and the Prime Minister of Myanmar. Kung Srepo, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen receives a courtesy visit from the Security Council of the Russian Federation, Nikolai Patrushev, on Wednesday. The Russian official has brought the Friendship Medal that was awarded by the Russian President Vladimir Putin to Prime Minister Hun Sen last July. Apart from discussing cooperation, Prime Minister Hun Sen has suggested that Petrushko to consider expanding in other areas, including free trade agreements. The free trade agreement that was encouraged by Prime Minister Hun Sen to the Security Council of the Russian Federation, Nikolai Petrushko, is under bilateral and multilateral framework, with study and transfer of equipment, workshops, machinery and equipment in the Kingdom of Cambodia. The Russian official has pledged that he will strive to cooperate with Cambodia to expand cooperation between the two countries to grow further. He has also conveyed greetings from the Russian President Vladimir Putin to Prime Minister Hun Sen and presented the Medal of Friendship. The Russian President awarded Prime Minister Hun Sen with the Order of Friendship on July the 25th for his significant contributions towards strengthening the bonds between Russia and the Cambodians. Petrushko also discussed to the Cambodian Prime Minister the progress of cooperation between the two countries in the fields of defence, social affairs, education, economy, trade, energy, technology, security, information exchange and other areas. The courtesy visit of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, Nikolai Petrushko, to Prime Minister Hun Sen is part of his 3-day visit to the Kingdom of Cambodia. Cambodian Red Cross President Bun Rani Hun Sen has celebrated her 67th birthday on Wednesday. The royal family, as well as the royal government, have sent birthday wishes, praising her good efforts and merits. Queen Mother Norodom Moniniat Sihanouk has gifted Bun Rani Hun Sen $20,000. Cambodian Red Cross President has expressed her gratitude and has said that she will use it to benefit people in rural areas of the kingdom. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the story.
A day ahead of her birthday, the Prime Minister's wife, Bun Rani Hun Sen, has received an overflowing birthday wishes. On Tuesday, King Norodom Sihamoni has sent an early birthday message for her. He has congratulated the wife of the Prime Minister for her years of noble mission serving the people of Cambodia. King Sihamoni has delivered a message wishing her happiness, congratulations, the best wishes and the warmest regards for Bun Rani Hun Sen, who is a great guide and outstanding person leading the activities of the Cambodian Red Cross with great success. The king has also stressed Bun Rani Hun Sen has performed her humanitarian work with a high sense of responsibility and has worked hard to fulfill her duties for the nation and the people of Cambodia, who have suffered from various disasters throughout the Kingdom of Cambodia. The Queen Mother Norodom Moniniat Sihanouk has greeted her, expressing the warmest congratulations to Bun Rani Hun Sen for giving her physical and mental strength and resources to participate in humanitarian activities to build the nation, the motherland, and the people of Cambodia, making Samdek Kitty Prit Brandit famous of her works. The Queen hopes she receives praises and joy both on the national and international stage. Apart from the heartfelt message, the Queen Mother has gifted Bun Rani Hun Sen $20,000 and a bouquet of flowers. As a response, the wife of the Prime Minister has expressed her deepest gratitude to the Queen Mother, while adding that she will use the noble gift to dig wells for the people in the rural areas of the Kingdom of Cambodia. Besides the royal family, top leaders in different areas of the government have also wished Bun Rani Hun Sen a happy birthday, such as Cambodian Senate President Sai Chun. The Senate President has given a message saying her leadership in doing humanitarian work in Cambodia with all her strength and spirit has helped in playing an important role in the royal government of Cambodia. The President of the National Assembly, Hang Samram, has also delivered his birthday wishes, along with his wife, commending Bun Rani Hun Sen's active and wise efforts to fulfill her noble missions for the cause of humanitarian work, as one of the most outstanding and virtuous women's leaders in the region and on the international stage. Minister of Information Kyung Kainyeret has also sent an early birthday message to Prime Minister's wife. He says the affection of Bun Rani Hun Sen gives warmth to the Cambodian people. Secretary of State of the Ministry of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth Rehabilitation, and the Secretary General of the Disability Action Council, M. Chan Makara, expressed his respect and gratitude for the patriotic heroism of Bunrani Hun Sen. In his congratulatory message, M. Chan Makara said that Bunrani Hun Sen has sacrificed a lot of humanitarian work to help the Cambodian people. Bunrani is the wife of longtime Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen, First Lady of Cambodia. She has served as the Vice President of the National Association of the Cambodian Red Cross and since 1998 as the President. Bunrani was born in Rokaknal, Krochama District, Kampong Chan Province, now a part of Tebong Kamun Province. Her parents, Ling Kri and Bung Sian Li, were a prosperous farmers. Rani has 2 brothers and 3 sisters. As children, before the Cambodian Civil War, they all walked half an hour to school, wading across the Rokaknal River in the dry season or hitching a ferry ride across in the wet season when the water was too deep to cross. In 1970, when Rani was 16 years old, she secretly joined the National United Front of Kampuchea. The local creditors gave her a choice of positions. She chose the medical field and the leadership arranged for her training by doctors who had come from Phnom Penh to lecture fresh recruits. After 6 months of training, she was sent back to Krochama with the title of Public Health Officer. In March 1974, Rani met Hun Sen, who, having joined the Khmer Rouge in 1970, commanded most of the soldiers that were treated at her hospital. As the Khmer Rouge leadership forbade fraternization among the people and strictly controlled every facet of life, including courtship and marriage, they carried on a romance through intermediaries and occasionally on the pretense of official party business. Hun Sen officially requested the Angkor to allow a marriage in late 1974, but despite his reputation as a good leader, was told to wait until Phnom Penh was captured and the whole country was under Khmer Rouge rule. Bunrani and Hun Sen finally got married on 5 January 1976 during the Democratic Kampuchea regime. Since then, Bunrani has received national and international recognition and numerous awards for her work with Cambodians' orphans and poor, HIV/AIDS awareness and prevention, and her emphasis on women's issues with efforts to improve domestic safety and empowerment through education and vocational training. Yuri Matosco, EAC News.
Cambodia will start providing booster doses for children from 12 to 17 years of age next month. This was announced by Prime Minister Hun Sen on Wednesday. The Prime Minister has reminded people that apart from vaccination, it is important that the 3 do's and don'ts must be continuously followed. EAC News reporter Ria Soka has more.
Booster dose for children under 12 to 17 will start next month. This was announced by Prime Minister Hun Sen on Wednesday amid the discovery of the country's first imported Omicron variant. According to the Prime Minister, around 2 million in this age group will receive their booster doses to increase their protection against the coronavirus, especially the emergence of the new variant. This is also part of the goal to increase the herd immunity against the virus. Prime Minister Hun Sen says that the booster doses for adolescents will start in Phnom Penh, followed by Kandal Province. As of Wednesday, about 88.83% of the total 16 million population of the kingdom have been vaccinated against COVID-19. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
The Asian Development Bank has shared a statistic showing that Cambodia ranks 4th among 46 developing member economies across the Asia-Pacific region in terms of being fully vaccinated against COVID-19. However, the agency has also stressed that comparing to other regions in the world, the Asia-Pacific nations are behind with vaccinations. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the story.
The ADB definition of developing Asia includes nations in Central Asia, East Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific. According to the Asian Development Bank Outlook, Singapore and the Pacific island nation of Palau were the most fully vaccinated countries around the Asia-Pacific region, reaching 90% of its population or even more. South Korea, Cambodia, and Brunei came next at around 80%. The survey releases an update of the Asian Development Outlook of September. Malaysia is the sixth nation with most citizens vaccinated, followed by China, the island of Niue, Bhutan, and the Maldives. Among Cambodia's neighbors, the bank said Thailand ranked 16th, Vietnam 19th, and Laos first one, all less than 60% fully vaccinated. The survey has stated that most economies in the region have resumed their vaccines rollouts, but progress continues to vary considerably. It also says that on 30th of November, almost 49% of the developing Asian's population was fully vaccinated, an improvement compared to the statistics shared 3 months earlier of over 29%. ADB has stressed, however, that the Asia-Pacific region still lags behind the 58% vaccination rate in the US and the 67% in the European Union. Yuri Matosco, EAC News.
Cambodia's daily COVID-19 numbers now stand at 120,390. On Tuesday, 8 new cases were recorded. 12 patients were successfully treated and discharged overnight. That makes the total recoveries 116,746. But 3 people died from COVID last night. Cambodia's total deaths since the beginning of the pandemic now stand at 2,995. Active cases, 649. Phra Sihanouk Provincial Governor Gyoit Cham Ran is aiming to establish an eco-tourism area in the province to boost the tourism sector. He has visited the proposed eco-tourism port in Dro Piang Kia village on Tuesday and urged private enterprise to establish an eco-tourism port in Phra Sihanouk province. EAC News reporter Kong Srepo has more.
Phra Sihanouk Governor Gyoit Ran was particularly keen to streamline the construction of tourist boats to reduce the impact on natural resources, seeing it as a potential attraction for tourists. Said that the port project would boost the tourism sector, especially the local fishing community, as well as contribute to the protection and conservation of flooded forests in the area. He stresses that the establishment of this tourist port is beneficial to the economy of Sihanoukville and provides employment to some people in the community. Especially the local community can sell fishery products, aquaculture, and other agriculture products to customers. The governor also emphasized that tourism can also use this port to transport tourists to visit the flooded forest area along the canal. According to the inspection of the proposed site for the construction of the eco-tourism boat port, the actual location of the land in this area has been systematically registered by cutting a 30-meter-long canal, while the applicant claims that he will cooperate with the competent authority or level to protect the flooded forest area along the Kampong Smash Canal as well. At present, this location has a variety of mangrove forests such as mangrove, bamboo, resin trees, and others. Kong Srepo, EAC News.
Pfizer has announced on Tuesday the final analysis of its antiviral COVID-19 pill, showing nearly 90% success in preventing hospitalizations and deaths in high-risk patients. Recent lab data suggests the drug retains its effectiveness against the fast-spreading Omicron variant of the coronavirus.
Pfizer announces additional Phase 2/3 study results confirming robust efficacy of novel COVID-19 oral antiviral treatment candidate in reducing risk of hospitalization or death. The successful trial of its novel COVID-19 oral antiviral candidate Paxlovid tablets and ritonavir tablets. The U.S. drug maker Pfizer last month has said the oral medicine was around 89% effective in preventing hospitalizations or deaths when compared to placebo, based on interim results in around 1,200 people. The data disclosed on Tuesday includes an additional 1,000 people. The Pfizer pills are taken with the older antiviral ritonavir every 12 hours for 5 days beginning shortly after onset of symptoms. If authorized, the treatment will be sold as Paxlovid. Pfizer has also released early data from a second clinical trial suggesting that the treatment reduced hospitalizations by around 70% in a smaller trial of standard risk adults. including some higher-risk vaccinated people. The results were not acknowledged as statistically significant, but Pfizer has claimed they showed a positive data trend for reduction in risk. Pfizer Chief Scientific Officer Michael Dolston has said he expects authorization for use in high-risk individuals from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and other regulatory agencies soon. There are currently no oral antiviral treatments for COVID-19 authorized in the United States. Rival Merck has asked for emergency use authorization of its antiviral pill molnupiravir, but that drug only reduced hospitalizations and deaths in its clinical trial of high-risk patients by around 30%. Some scientists have also raised safety concerns about the potential for birth defects from the Merck drug, as well as worries that it could cause the virus to mutate. Accordingly, Pfizer's drug works differently. It is part of a class of drugs called protease inhibitors, currently used to treat HIV, hepatitis C, and other viruses. A recent laboratory testing has shown that activity against the protease of the Omicron variant is as good as basically any SARS-CoV-2 variant of concern. The company has said it can have 180,000 treatment courses ready to ship this year and plans to produce at least 80 million more in 2022. Pfizer, which makes one of the leading COVID-19 vaccines with German partner BioNTech, has agreed to allow generic manufacturers to supply versions of the drug to 95 low- and middle-income countries through a licensing agreement with international public health group Medicine's patent pool.
Omicron has prompted some countries to roll out booster programs for their entire adult populations, even while the evidence is still coming in as to how effective booster shots are. On Tuesday, WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus has announced that boosters could play an important role, especially for those at highest risks or have serious disease. 77 countries have now reported cases of Omicron, and the reality is that the Omicron is probably in most countries, even if it hasn't been detected yet. Omicron is spreading at a rate we have not seen with any previous variant. Britain has reported its first case of death caused by Omicron variant of COVID-19. UK Health Minister has confirmed it is spreading at a phenomenal rate.
Even if Omicron does cause less severe disease, the sheer number of cases could once again overwhelm unprepared health systems. I need to be very clear. Vaccines alone will not get any country out of this crisis.
He has added that vaccine booster shots can play a role in curbing the spread of COVID-19, as long as people most in need of protection also get access to jabs. WHO's top emergency expert, Mike Ryan, has said that the peak of this wave of infections was still a number of weeks away, given the very rapid spread of the Omicron variant. Omicron wave is expected to hit France in January. WHO vaccine expert Kate O'Brien has also said unvaccinated people had to be the priority, as they were putting pressure on the healthcare system. British scientists found on Monday that 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccine regimes do not induce enough neutralizing antibodies against Omicron, indicating that the increased infections in those previously infected or vaccinated may be likely. Researchers from the University of Oxford have published results from a study yet to be peer-reviewed, where they analysed blood samples from participants who were given doses from AstraZeneca Oxford or Pfizer Biotech in a large study looking into mixing of vaccines. The results come a day after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has warned that 2 shots will not be enough to contain Omicron, following findings from the UK Health Agency last week that boosters significantly restore protection against the variant. Now for a look at the news making international headlines this Tuesday, 15th of December.
A gasoline tanker has overturned and exploded in northern Haiti, unleashing a fireball that swept through homes and businesses on its way to killing at least 60 people in the latest tragedy that befall the Caribbean nation. The blast has occurred shortly after midnight Tuesday in Cap-Haïtien, Haiti's second largest city along the northern coast. Hours later, at dawn, buildings and overturned vehicles were still fuming as firefighters covered the burned bodies of the young victims in white sheets and loaded them onto the back of a construction truck. Hundreds of Haitians look on from rooftops in disbelief at the loss of so much life. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ariel Henry, himself a physician, has visited the hospital where victims bandaged head to toe were fighting for their lives amid a shortage at medical supplies and health workers. The death toll is expected to rise as first respondents comb through buildings gutted by the fire. Early reports indicate that the tanker was trying to avoid an oncoming motorcycle when it flipped. Onlookers then rushed to the scene with buckets to scoop up what they could at the tanker's valuable cargo, likely for resale on the black market, as the fuel spilled toward a nearby pile of smoldering trash. Fuel deliveries across Haiti only resumed last month after a blockade by gangs who, for nearly a month, have prevented trucks from loading at the main fuel ports. Many businesses were forced to shut down. As rescue workers have cleaned up in the aftermath of the explosion, bodies covered in white sheets lay on the ground before they were loaded on the trucks to be taken away. The blast has also damaged the homes, houses, and shops in the streets and charred motorbikes and cars. The government declared 3 days of mourning for the dead. The United Nations office in Haiti has declared it stood ready to help the national authorities in its response and offered its condolences to the families of the victims. Gangs have grown more powerful since the July assassination of President Jovenel Moïse, which created the political vacuum and has allowed criminal groups to expand their territory.
7 people were killed and 4 injured when a car with a Serbian license plate carrying migrants crashed into a house in Hungary late on Monday after its driver refused to stop for a police check. The driver saw that police were stopping cars in the village of Morahalon near the Serbian border and has attempted to avoid them by speeding away. The car, which was carrying 10 migrants and was headed towards the town of Szeged, then crashed into a house and rolled over. Police said that the driver, who was also injured, was detained and proceedings against him would be launched for people trafficking and causing a fatal mass accident.
And 2 police officers and a suspected attacker have been killed in bomb blasts on Tuesday morning at an airport in northeastern Colombia near the border with Venezuela. The 2 dead policemen, William Barreno Adila and David Reyes Jimenez, has both been recognized for their work to remove landmines. The suspected attacker has managed to cross a wire fence to access the runway at the Camilo Daza International Airport in the border city of Cucuta. Police have reported that the first blast took place at 5 a.m. as a man carrying explosives tried to climb over a fence that separates the airport's runway from one of the city's neighborhoods. The man died instantly in the blast, and his body parts were scattered around the area. About an hour later, a second blast occurred when police were researching for a suspicious package. The explosions took place near the airport's runway, but the passenger terminal was not affected. Flights, however, were suspended and passengers were evacuated. Cucuta is the capital of North Santander State, a border region that has recently seen a surge in fighting between rebel groups and drug trafficking gangs that are vying to control of coca crops and trafficking routes.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, please, please wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Max Verstappen got back behind the wheel for tyre testing in Abu Dhabi on Tuesday after winning the Formula One World Championship for Red Bull. The 24-year-old Dutch driver who beat Mercedes' 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton controversially in Sunday's season-ending race completed 124 laps of Yas Marina on the new 18-inch tyres for 2022.
Mercedes is still deciding whether to appeal the result of the race and have until Thursday, the night Verstappen is due to receive the Champions Trophy at a gala award ceremony in Paris. Verstappen overtook Hamilton 7 corners from the end of Sunday after the safety car rules were tweaked, giving him an opportunity that Mercedes thought he should not have been allowed. George Russell turned out for Mercedes, stating the next stage of his career after leaving Williams and replacing Valtteri Bottas.
It's a strange feeling because I've tested with the team numerous times after races, end of season, and here we are again, but obviously this is my first time as an official driver for the team, so it was a really great day to be back with the guys.
Teams reserve and Formula E champion Nick de Vries joined the Briton and set the fastest lap as young drivers were also given track time. Australia's new Formula 2 champion Oscar Piastri completed 131 laps for Alpine, who also had regular race driver Stephen Ocon testing the tyres. Guan Yu Zhou, who will become China's first Formula 1 driver next season, tested for Alfa Romeo, with Bottas also making his debut, with the Swiss-based team McLaren gave Mexican IndyCar driver Pato O'Ward his first proper run out in Formula 1 machinery, with Daniel Ricciardo also completing a day of testing before heading for quarantine in Australia.
The French and Cuban Olympic committees have voted their support to the upcoming Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, with its expectations for success. On Monday night, the organising committee for the 2024 Paris Summer Olympics unveiled the design for the opening ceremony. Meanwhile, they extended steadfast support and heartfelt good wishes to the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics.
I will go to Beijing myself to continue to observe the work of the Beijing Winter Olympic Organizing Committee, just as we did in Tokyo. This is an opportunity for us to make progress. This is also to show my respect for the Beijing Winter Olympics.
Our athletes are doing their utmost to prepare for the Games. Now it's mainly the Skiing World Championship, so the skiers are all participating in it. Until January 21 of next year, there are still many races to decide qualification for the Beijing Winter Olympics. So it's only until then that our delegation can take shape. We'll probably have about 100 athletes taking part. It's nice to have audience in France supporting us, and of course, I'll go there.
The Cuban Olympic Committee said in a statement that it regrets that some Western countries will not send diplomats to the Beijing Winter Olympics for political reasons unrelated to sport. The statement said the decisions by the countries concerned had no significance other than to affect the performance of their own delegations and damage the spirit of solidarity and unity advocated by the Games. The statement stressed that China successfully held the 2008 Beijing Summer Olympics, and the country has made efforts to prepare for the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics against the backdrop of COVID-19. It is said the countries concerned should immediately stop using sporting events as tools of political condemnation and pressure, and the national Olympic committees of all countries around the world should join hands to strive for peace, unity, and friendship at every event. England captain Joe Root has backed Rory Burns and Jack Leach to rebound from their horror show in the series opening defeat in Brisbane, as the tourists look to square the Ashes with victory in the second test at Adelaide Oval.
Burns was bowled out first ball of the series, dropped an easy catch that allowed David Warner to go on to score 94, and failed with the bat again in the second innings of England's 9-wicket defeat by Australia.
Rory's a very strong character. One thing you can never doubt about him is that side of his game. He's someone that will get stuck in. He relishes a big occasion and a challenge and stands up to it. You look at his performances in the last Ashes series, actually. He put in some really fine performances and played some brilliant knocks. So I've got no doubt about Rory in terms of his character. He'll come back in, and I'm sure he'll want a response, and he'll want to put some big scores on the board.
He says he's sure Rory will come back in and will want a response and to put some big scores on the board. Leach conceded 102 at nearly 8 runs per over as Australia's batsman hit the spinner out of the tag. Stuart Broad and James Anderson were rested in Brisbane, and both pacemen are expected to come in for Adelaide, but Root will not rule out Leach retaining his place in the side. In the 2017-18 Ashes series, England lost the pink ball test in Adelaide on the way to a 4-0 defeat and will face an opponent who have never lost a test under lights. Root said his batsmen should feel more comfortable against the swinging pink ball after they struggled with the bounce at the Gabba, where they were stickled with 147 in the first innings and lost 8 wickets in a session in the second.
I don't think it's as straightforward as looking at that as a concern. I think actually you look at it and you think they took an opportunity, they played it pretty well. And most importantly, if you get the opportunity again, if they try and do that on a wicket that's a bit more responsive, then brings them into the game even more.
Now let's have a look at the weather and see what you can expect for tomorrow. Finally, hundreds of dinosaur footprints, so well preserved that even the scaly skin can be seen, have been found in Poland, giving an insight into the complex ecosystem of over 200 million years ago.
Described by the Polish Geological National Research Institute as a treasure trove, the fossilized tracks and bones were found in an open-cast clay mine in Borkowice, 130 kilometers south of Warsaw.
W tym miejscu stwierdziliśmy, że
Exactly in this place, we found that the blocks that were rejected for use by the cornerstoners when thrown away become actual coalstones. Because of these rejected blocks of sandstones regarded as waste material, we found excellently preserved dinosaur footprints.
traktowanych jako skała płona,
Geologist Zizorz Pinkowski said the traces had been preserved thanks to dinosaurs walking on a dry surface millions of years ago that had been covered by layers of sand.
są to naturalne odlewy, ponieważ dinozaury
Those are natural castings, because the dinosaurs walked on a dry surface thanks to which they were preserved. Sand barriers were layered over them, and the sand became with time a thick layer, which is why we see the footprints bulging out.
piasek zamienił się z czasem w twardy.
The largest footprints of carnivorous dinosaurs are 40 centimeters long, and in many cases, the skin can be seen in detail. Several hundred dinosaur tracks, representing at least 7 species, have been found, and geologists say they are likely to find more. They have also discovered bone fragments from animals and fish.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check out our website, eacnews.asia, or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favourite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.